You're listening to Hey Pal, What's New with John, Alex, and Greg. Hey Pal, What's New is a GBR production. Follow us on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and all other social media platforms. Hey Pal, What's New can be found on Spotify, Twitch, YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Google, Podbean, Pandora, and all your other favorite podcast locations. Warning, Hey Pal, What's New contains explicit content. John, Alex, and Greg are a pair of vulgar Gen Xers. If you are easily offended, please stop listening and go download a nice tame podcast like the Goop Podcast. You have been warned.
It's nice. I like to hear my own voice.
I like to smell my own pussy. I shaved my head. I'm beating the chemo to the punch.
Yeah, guess who's back? Just play with your crack. It's Hey Pal, what's new?
Oh,
we're back, guys. This time we're really back.
How about pull out your sack and finger your crack? I like that one.
Oh, that one's good.
Pull out your sack and finger your crack. It's Hey Pal, what's new?
It's like the gobbler. Remember the gobbler?
The
you
gobbler.
Just pull it out the side there.
When you had a rip in the freaking crotch of your jeans, you just pull your freaking bubble gum out.
Oh yeah. We'll get to people watching.
That's sexual harassment, sir.
We'll get to the people watching at the Borgata this week. But hey, everybody,
people are watching at the Borgata.
People watching at the Borgata.
Oh. Yeah. I thought you were saying that like there's people watching us at the Borgata. I'm like, who the fuck is at the Borgata watching us?
Yeah. Live at the Borgata. It's Hey Pal, what's new?
Live at the Borgata at the slot machines with a giant arm. It's your mom.
Jeez.
She's got the big arm from going like this, and the other one from the bucket.
Oh, you don't even use the handles anymore. It's all just buttons and freaking tickets. Like I remember. Well, we'll get into all of that later. But anyway, yeah, we're back. It's been a couple of weeks, man. We took a little bit of a breaky wakey.
Well, you had family stuff, and then I went to visit my mother down in South Carolina.
Yeah.
I was hoping to have made it back Friday in time to do a show. It was like, oh yeah, and it was like, oh, you'll be back at 7. No, you'll be back at 8.
Yeah.
11, 12. I got back at like 1 in the morning.
Yeah, that old gag. Yeah, you just keep seeing the freaking GPS going, oh no. No, but that was fine. I mean, we had we had the Lord risen on Sunday for Easter.
Zombie Jesus.
Yes, Zombie Jesus came out and said, did big arms. I want to do big arms. He loves to do big arms. Yeah, so we did that, and then we had a lot of stuff that went on, but we'll definitely touch on that in our Hey Pal, What's New segment. So, yeah, pal. So you went down to South Carolina.
I went down. Oh, South Carolina. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Exactly. I thought we were going another direction with that.
We'll get to that later.
The roller coaster's open.
The old bone roller coaster.
I went down to visit my mom. Brought like Mila and Xander and Anastasia.
Whoa!
Who hasn't been down like there forever.
You got her out of the room, huh?
Yeah, she had a blast, man. She like played mini golf.
Good.
I don't know. It's fun.
Good. Yeah, it's a good time.
She got out and she had fun. She's got a job now.
Wow.
She's working at the old BN.
BN?
Barnes and Noble.
Oh, wow. They still have those, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, there is one in Danbury. I know that.
That's where Pete used to work.
Yep. Yeah, it's still there. The old Barnes and Noble. Yeah, I mean, people still go in to get books, which is still a cool thing. Yeah. I mean, basically, where were we the past couple of weeks? Well, like I said, John went down to South Carolina. We did take a little trip to Boston.
Boston. Butt sex.
Your cousin from Boston. Yeah, we went there to travel 3-4 hours to hang out in a hotel, and we could have just hung out at our houses, but we had tickets to see the Circle Jerks. Goddamn Keith Morris got COVID.
Fucking motherfucking COVID.
So we all thought,
suck it up, Nancy. I ran a half marathon with COVID. You could fucking do a show.
That's right. I mean, it's not like he's hitting Steve Perry notes, but anyway, I digress.
Who is? Even Steve Perry's not hitting Steve Perry notes.
Exactly. It's that little Filipino
and
guy.
Apparently neither is John Bon Jovi.
Oh, wow. We'll get to that.
Too
definitely.
soon?
No, not too soon at all. Yeah, so we went to Boston to go to a show that didn't happen.
Cotton candy hair. Sorry.
Looking like my Aunt Joan. They just call him Joan Bon Jovi at this point. Oh, my God.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, he's got a nice feathery do. Yeah, so we went to, and you know what sucked about that is that, I mean, they're still canceling
shows.
The New York one never happened, I don't think.
Yeah, Jeff offered me his ticket, and I was like, oh, I can't go. I'm leaving for Myrtle Beach. And he's like, maybe. I was like, yeah, whatever. And then they canceled it.
Yeah. I was seriously thinking about, like, oh, maybe I'll just get a ticket and go. I know Manal couldn't go, but I was like, I don't want to go without her. I don't want to go out with my friends. But then it just got canceled anyway. They're still canceling at this point. So, yeah, so we had the hotel rooms. We said, screw it. Let's just go on a trip. And we had a good time. We goofed around, drank some, I drank tonic waters. These guys, you guys.
I'm starting to show my age. It's not like I drank a lot.
No, and you know what? I'm sitting there, and that's a thing that always happens with alcoholics. I remember when I was seriously in drinking a lot, I always thought everybody drank the same way as me. No. And I'm there on that weekend going, come on, guys, drink some beers. What the hell?
I think I had like one at Dave & Buster's, and then
one at the bowling alley and one at the hotel.
Yeah,
in the span of like 5 hours.
Yep.
My girl definitely took the crap out of a freaking cigarette smoke pole. That was fun.
Oh my God. I told Kat, I was like, she thought she was gonna. I was like, she went to go kick one of those smoke poles, thinking it was gonna like weeble wobble, and the top came off, and she went, oh shit, and stopped mid kick. Her foot went into it. The whole thing went down. She went down, and Stolpe and I looked at each other, go, what the fuck is up with these two? Who are these? Anybody know these people?
And the weirdest thing is, the next day I go outside. Not only is that one still knocked over, the other one is knocked over. So somebody got
drunk,
excited, and was like, shit, let's do this.
Only in Boston.
Yeah, so we went to that. That was fun, even though it was a crazy trip. And one day we still had a blast. We always have a blast together.
Yeah.
So it was good to see good old Mikey Stolper. He always fucking makes me laugh like nobody's business.
AKA Mikey the truck driver.
Yeah.
Hey, how's it going there, Mikey? Can you take this across the country for me?
Are you going to get yourself a chimp and be like
BJ McKay? BJ McKay and his best friend Bear.
That's right.
Why I remember that, I don't fucking know.
See, it doesn't faze me at all, because he was one of the first people or one of the only people I knew who had a CB radio in his car.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
But so did Brian, right? Rizzuto had that fucking programmable horn too, that played like a dozen songs, but he only played the fucking General E. Fucking Mega Pack rednecks.
Yeah, so that was one. And then, like I said, Easter. Mini egg, not a freaking Easter grass or nothing. My kids went to go see the grandmother in Massachusetts, so it was just well, Manal and I did have a nice Easter dinner. We had a rack of lamb. Well, a lamb food. It wasn't a rack of lamb. But that was good.
There's a nice rack on that lamb.
That's
look at those teats.
Yeah, and then that just Wednesday I had a birthday.
No, you have a on 420?
Yep.
Today's 422.
Yeah. What about it?
It's 422.
Oh. Well, it's so funny. Every time somebody asks for my, if I'm buying a pack of cigarettes or something, like, what's your birthday? And I'm like, 420. They're like, I'm like, really, dude? Type it in.
Come on, dude. I knew a guy named Michael Hunt.
Yeah, exactly.
Literally, that's his name. I work with him.
Oh, poor Phil McCrevis. I had a love.
Phil McCracken.
Parents are cruel.
Yep.
So yeah, no, I took a couple days off and had a lovely birthday with my girl. We went to the Borgata Hotel and Casino.
Minus the stick-on dildo.
No stick-on dildo this time. It was just a clear view. It's really nice when we go down there because, my girl, she's the freaking
queen of comp.
She's the comp queen. Like, we had ridiculous suite that's bigger than my apartment. All comped for 2 days. All the food we ate was comped. She had slot dollar. Of course, we all go in and we started with like $100 each, and I said, "All right, I'm gonna play." And I'm small time, right? I'm just hitting the slots. But we were all up. At one point, she was up like $1,500. I'm like, "Damn!" Out of $100, we played.
Tap out.
Yeah, we played for 8 hours straight. And just, I was playing all my favorites. I was playing my Walking Dead one. I was playing Little Shop of
Slot
Horrors.
machines.
Yeah.
Okay.
They have the big screens now. It's ridiculous. The leprechauns, man. The leprechauns were giving me lots of money. And then the next day, we dumped it all back in. And I walked away with like $50.
What a junkie.
Yeah, but it was fun. Everything was... I said, look, we got freaking 2 free nights and all the food. You know, we were literally stopping at Starbucks on the way out because it was free. We were like, all right, I'm just going to get some free Starbucks. But it was funny because I wanted to bring up a back-in-the-day story about the Borgata.
You want to bring up a... What the fuck?
Oh, come on, man. Get on the freaking...
I don't know where I went.
Get on the stick. It's garbage day.
I quit.
Oh, you found that one.
Sorry.
It just I wanted to we were talking about that before we start getting into our movie TV, and it was like it reminded me, my family has always been big with the casinos.
Oh, they're a bunch of gamblers.
Oh yeah, we're a
bunch of degenerates.
We're a bunch of degenerate Irish gamblers, and we love it. And we used to.
It's like I quit drinking and started gambling.
Yeah, and as a cigarette smoker, you go into I call it the smoky slots, which poor Manal's like sitting there. We're like, of course, every game that you wanted to play was like in this, and I'm sitting there like freaking, Michigan
like
J Frog with a big old fucking.
That's
cigarette.
like when we played bingo that time. We're sitting there and it's like,
yeah. You just start. I mean, and by the end of I was like, God damn it, I smoked too much cigarette just because I could. I was like,
Can you vape?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Okay.
Well, they just have like smoking and and you could definitely tell if you walk through the smoking section. It's just like, and I'm a smoker. I'm a Marlboro Red smoker, and I can still be like, oh my God.
Well, I just think I'm like something be sitting there, which is like I'm vaping weed.
Oh.
I know where's Mohegan Sun? It's in New York.
Well, Mohegan Sun is Connecticut.
You guys went to
Atlantic City, Jersey.
Atlantic City. Oh, Atlantic City.
Atlantic
My
City.
name is Nucky Thompson from Atlantic City.
Atlantic City.
Yeah, well, the first legal dispensary in Jersey, like recreational, opened up, and they said the fucking line was around the block.
Oh yeah, I mean we all remember ACB. There's a lot of chicanery. It's gotten bad. Well, at least we stay at the Borgata, which is like in the Bay,
right?
So you're not near that. And it reminded me, like I said, we used to go all the time when we were a kid. Like my mom and her sister and the family would go gamble. Like Nanny, my grandmother would sit at Joker Poker till like the sun came up. Always wait. She was part of when it was the Trump Taj Mahal and all that stuff. And my sister and my other cousin Biz, they were young. They were like 10 or 12. Around that age.
Going to the casino.
They can't get in the casino, so like our parents would just be like, yeah, just watch TV or go to the pool or maybe walk the boardwalk. At least they had that,
right?
But they couldn't gamble. So, I was at the age where I was, as soon as you turn, I forget if it's like 18 or 21. I think it's 18 to gamble. All bets are off, and now we're playing. But so. My sister and Biz were bored out of their minds, right? I mean, they basically like locked them in the freaking hotel room and was like, "Don't come out and call us unless it's important," So one day they decided, Greg, wouldn't it be fun? We got 2 tickets. Now the Borgata, before it was the Borgata, used to be the Trump Marina, and then it was the Trump Castle, way back in the day. So my mom and my aunt go, Greg, do you think do you want to take the girls to go see this show? We got this show at the Trump Castle, and it's American Bandstand.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Siegfried and Roy.
No tigers. But they go, it's American Bandstand. They'll love it. It'll be on music from the 50s, and it'll be great. We got 2 free tickets, tickets to the show. So I said, all right, I'll entertain my sister and my little cousin, right? So they had to be like 10 and 12, I would say, around that. Young, but not like baby young, So we get on a jitney. If everybody's ever been on a jitney, it's basically like a short bus, like taxi, that takes you around to different ones, casinos and stuff. Because I didn't have a car. So I dragged them on this jitney in fucking the middle of, the hood, because Atlantic City, still to this day, it's still a dump. So we get on there, and I still remember being on hold because they would go, magic awaits you at the castle. Magic awaits you at the castle. I'm like, there must be magic at this castle, right? Take my sister and her, and we go, and we got these like great seats, right? They're right in the front. like really in the front row in this table, right? So I'm like, this is cool. Like I take, I want a soda. I want, the candy. I'm like, all right, whatever. I get them candy and soda. They sit down. We sit
Please
down.
tell me it was a strip show.
Close. We sit down, and then all of a sudden it's like, bandstand. It's got the bandstand on there. Out come the Showgirls. Tassels, maybe.
Oh, God.
Tits fly. I'm like, I don't think this was on this American Bandstand show.
Jesus.
The whole thing was just, and their faces, like that gaping mouth, like, yes, girls, someday you'll have tits like that. And I'm sitting there with 2 children in the front row with these Showgirls with thongs. You can see their hands and their tassels. And my mom was like, how was the show? I was like, oh, it was just fabulous. But yeah, nowadays it's not the castle anymore. It's the Borgata, and Trump's name is not anything anymore. They're trying to get rid of that whole shit. But
Donald who? Yeah.
I the last time I went, we stayed, and it was funny because we were there for like 3 days. You don't walk out of the casino at all. You know? You don't leave because
It's like a cruise ship.
Yeah, because I remember last time we went in the summer, we'd go and you go walk on the boardwalk. I felt like I was in fucking Beirut.
Well, let me ask you, is it, because I've never been, like, we went for a concert, that's about all I've done there.
Yeah.
Is it like when we went to Mohegan Sun where it's like, it's basically inside is like a mall?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, once you're at the Borgata, you're pretty much removed from the actual boardwalk.
Right.
The boardwalk has all, like, the Hard Rock Casino and all that stuff. Like, you go see concerts. The Hard Rock was great to see a concert when I saw Guns N' Roses there. It was easy. You can gamble, you can eat. It was right there, and you go right in the show. But yeah, the Borgata is more in a bay, so it's like removed from everything. So if you do venture out into the boardwalk, it's pretty dicey. And we went out during the day. Needless to say, it's been a busy few weeks.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so...
well, I got my daughter's birthday next Friday and my wife's birthday next Saturday.
Oh, boy.
Oh, boy, it's going to be fun.
We got some news there for you. Are you ready? Are you back in? John, you got any news? Do you?
I do have some news. It's been it's been a while, so I feel like all the old news is not worth talking about.
Yeah.
I mean, Johnny Depp gives fucking Marilyn Manson drugs because he got his finger chopped off.
Yeah, stuff like that.
But
Ezra, I can't even say his name. I'm sure.
Ezra Miller. Oh, yeah, Ezra Miller. Dude, the best about that is, like, you hear all these things. He got, like, drunky at the karaoke bar or whatever. Mm-hmm. And then, like, a week later, there's something about him getting in trouble. I was like, oh, why are they reprinting this? Like, oh, no. This is a new story.
Yeah. Hang on, kids. He's throwing chairs now.
Which is amazing because he's in the new freaking Dumbledore, the Fantastic Beasts, the story of Dumbledore or whatever the fuck it is. Yeah. I'm like, and we talked about the fact that they've put the Flash movie on hold for the time being because I was like, yeah, good luck digitizing that guy out of that.
Yeah, I mean that thing's already done and in the can. So I mean,
you know what else is in the can? But
definitely with that Dumbledore movie, they were just like, they'll just sweep him down into that.
Yeah, we'll just pretend like
talk about
if we don't push him, we'll just nobody will notice.
Yeah. I've never watched any of those Fantastic Beasts.
I've watched them all.
I'm sure you have.
Well, the worst is like to link the two, like with all the shit with Johnny Depp, they fucking took him out of the movie.
Yep. Yeah.
And you're finding out like he was fucking abused as a kid, abused by his wife. Like, but men can't be abused. Okay.
Is that why he wears all those bracelets? But I love that man. We'll get to the movie part of that. I rewatched Black Mass. Fucking, he's so good in that movie.
Is that the
Whitey Bulger movie we talked about? Yeah, it was on HBO Max, and I was like,
of course it is.
I gotta watch it.
Well, HBO Max is getting the first bit of news. The I don't know how DC you are, but like the John Constantine show.
Okay.
They're rebooting it, and
again?
and they got this guy Sope Dirisu. I don't know him. I've looked at some of what he's in. I don't know any of the movies or stuff. He's a British fella.
No relation to Shampoo Deerasu?
No. So, but we're getting a John Constantine show. It's
Drop
very
the soap Deerasu? I don't know
very, very early. Netflix, you're gonna love this one. This is right up your alley. Netflix has finally wrapped filming and everything on their Wednesday series. It's a Tim Burton production, Wednesday Addams.
Oh.
And Christina Ricci's got a part in it. They won't disclose what her part in it is.
Okay.
You know, Jugs. And who's playing Wednesday Addams? But Jenna Ortega. Now, I don't know if you know her. If you've watched the stuff for that movie X, she's the one girl. She's in that movie. She's like the.
I'm dying to see that movie. That's got to be a watch.
Yeah,
this
on my watch list, I watched it. But Jenna Ortega plays Wednesday Addams, so.
Interesting, and it's a Tim Burton thing.
Yeah,
we've talked.
He didn't direct it. It's Tim Burton production, which basically means Tim Burton opened up his wallet and was like, "Here's some money to make."
It's going to be dark and gothic and sad. Which
Yeah.
I went on a whole rant with that actually last week about Tim Burton because, dude, I get it.
Right.
Like, you're sad. You're not sad anymore. I mean, come on. Edward Scissorhands, everything's got to be. He made even Dumbo fucking sad. I mean, it's a sad story, but, you know, you don't have to make Dumbo gothic. Like, no, good on Tim Burton. I'm sure it'll be bright and delightful.
Yeah. And now we all know I love my toys. And on Star Wars Day, which I always like, you know, they play fast and loose with the Star Wars Day. Because to me, Star Wars Day is May the 4th.
Of course.
But now they want to play like Star Wars Day is like May 20, whatever, like the date that New Hope first came out.
Yeah, okay.
But on Star Wars Day, the May the 4th one, I love my Legos. They're releasing the Lego Luke Skywalker Land Speeder kit.
Ooh.
Thing is like this fucking, it's like huge.
Nice.
And $200 huge.
Of course.
So I'm putting that on my list with the new Batmobile Lego kit.
Nice. Yeah, Legos are not cheap, my friend. They are freaking expensive.
And there's the ones that are it's like a mosaic one that's like the little rivets, and you use them to make like a C-3PO. And even those ones are like over $100. I'm like, what the fuck is that? $100 of rivets?
I know, it's crazy. Yeah.
Well, Netflix has.
I still haven't put together my. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but I still haven't put together that guitar. I keep looking at it.
One night you're gonna be sitting there going like, Manol's not around. What am I gonna do? I'll build the fucking Lego. Or your daughter's gonna go, Dad, why haven't you built the Lego? You want to build it? Let's build it.
That's right. I'm waiting for them. That's my excuse. I'm waiting for them to come over. I was excited in one of my movie watches that Violet was over and she actually sat and watched the whole movie with me.
Ooh.
Usually it's like half hour. She's like, I'm done. She walks upstairs.
Damn.
I'm like, just hang out with your father, watch a movie. Cats in the cradle and a silver spoon.
Well, in two pieces of related news, Will Smith had this. They were planning a sequel. I don't know if you ever watched the Will Smith Bright movie that was on Netflix.
Oh,
where he was a
with the
cop.
alien?
No, it was him. He was a cop with the fucking I don't know, like ogres or gargoyle demons. I don't fucking know.
Did it come out on Palm Sunday? Get it?
Well, they put the kibosh.
Oh boy.
They put the kibosh on the sequel to that. Apparently unrelated to Oscars. I'm going to say it's related to the next bit of news is that Netflix subs are way down again.
Oh, I saw that. That was delicious.
When they got shit content and they're like, oh, we got to crack down on the password sharing. I was like, yeah, that's your answer.
Yeah, and you know what? It's the most expensive one out of all of them. The fact that I'm paying $8 now. I noticed that, like $8.50 for Disney Plus, when freaking Netflix is $15.
Yeah.
It's like, that's why we're all sharing passwords, you dumb fucks, because you're putting out Stranger Things, which hasn't been out in like 2 years, Ozark. I think that's about it. And there was something I wanted to watch about John Wayne Gacy, but that's about it.
Oh, the Confessions with a Killer?
Yeah, I want to see that.
I do want to watch that. I watched something Netflix. Oh, season 2 of Russian Doll.
I heard that was good.
It was all right. Season 2 was all right. Season 1 was really good. But like, I think the problem is, and I've said this with UFC, it's the same thing. It's like, you're going to charge $70 for a fucking pay-per-view, UFC. Yeah. How about this? You charge $30, and instead of me going, let me get 4 of my friends together to come over my house and split the freaking $70.
Yeah.
Oh, it's $30. I'll just buy it and watch it myself. And then my 4 friends would just buy and watch it themselves. You just made $120 that would have been $70.
Yeah. I mean, it's just the fact that everything is growing up, like, when it's great that these new movies are like, for X, for example,
Right.
Like, I was like, oh wow, it's out. Like, I can rent it. I wanted to see it in the theater, but shit, all right, I'll watch it. It's like $20 to rent it, not to own it. To fucking rent it.
No, thanks.
And then it's like, but yet the Batman goes on HBO Max 45 days after the release. Like, here it is.
I mean, you could buy it on iTunes for $30, but it's free on HBO Max right now.
Yeah, and, for HBO Max, I mean, HBO Max right now is killing it, and they have the content. Netflix, they were the first to do it, and, they're great. And they're starting to play around with doing commercial tiers.
Yeah.
Which some people will go with, but at the same time, I mean, yeah.
I think that's how they justify. I think that's how they justify, like, oh, we're gonna raise the prices to like $10, but you can get the ad-free version for like $5.99 a month.
Yeah, and some people will do that. I'm sure.
I won't, but
yeah. I mean, at this point,
I think I've still got like prepaid for the next 2 years of Disney Plus.
Oh yeah. I mean, I would pay $15 for Disney Plus just for their content. That's what I'm saying.
Well,
with Netflix,
Disney's in Dutch right now, but
yeah, they don't have that freaking Mickey money. Yeah, somebody's got to do a deep dive into Disney, like the dark side of that. All that.
Well, I've heard for years about the movie. Those people who filmed a movie inside Disney World. I can't remember the name of it. I've heard talked about so many times. They filmed like a renegade movie inside Disney World.
Wow.
That is all like, it's like a horror movie, I think.
It's actually pretty creepy for the fact. I remember I went to a convention for work, and they rent out, like they rented out a spot in Universal right, and it's just weird walking through the park when it's like closed.
Oh
yeah, we had to walk to like this certain area, and you're just kind of like. And that one time we went down there for marching band, where they took us in the back, and it was like, marching bands just appear out of nowhere, like, because they sneak you in and all. It's pretty fascinating stuff.
So that movie is called Escape from Tomorrow. It's a 2013 like independent horror film. But these guys, it tells the story of an unemployed father having increasingly bizarre experiences and disturbing visions on the last day of a family vacation at Disney World.
So is it?
It's not a Disney movie. These people like they act like they were tourists and filmed this movie inside Disney property.
Oh, so it is like a true story?
No,
no,
it's like one of those like renegade shot movies. Like
like a guerrilla marketing kind of.
Yeah, I've never watched it. I'm really interested to see it.
It sounds cool. I mean, it is weird when you go down to Orlando where it's just like. Everything is just run by that company. But, look, like you said, we don't want to get political and all that stuff, but it's just like, I get it. Like, my daughters say that stuff all the time. Like, I talk to Violet, and she's like, oh, I got to go to health class. And it's like, why? It's like, because she's like, they should just call it obvious. Like, don't vape, use a condom. Like, and she's like, I don't want to hear about herpes and anal warts and shit like that, like
AKA speed bumps.
Yeah, exactly. Balloon knots.
So here's, I don't know how you are about Chris Pine in a Chris Pine tree.
Chris Pine.
But they finally announced the D&D movie details.
What is the name of it?
Honor Among Thieves.
Okay.
Starring Chris Pine. It comes out on 3/3/23.
Ooh.
There's a quick teaser for it. That's about all that's out there.
Yeah, well, hopefully it's better than that one they did a long time ago.
Oh.
It's just like, take a medieval movie, throw D&D on it, whatever. I mean, unless it's like a bunch of people throwing 20-sided die, whatever.
And it's like the Warcraft movie. It's like they're playing on the theme of the game as the premise for, or the worst fucking movie ever, Battleship.
Battleship. It's right up there with Rampage.
So now there's a Being Mortal film. They had a stop production on this movie. Nobody was shot.
Okay.
But now, as what happened way back when they were filming the Charlie's Angels movie, there are some accusations of inappropriate behavior from one Mr. William Murray. Bill Murray.
Naughty boy.
No, but see,
Billy Murray.
I read up on it. Apparently his shit with the Charlie's Angels was, I forget the actress's name. It'll come to me. She accused him of being
Lucy
like
Liu.
Lucy Liu accused him of being like
Wow, I had a 1 in 3 shot. I was like, all right.
she accused
Lucy
him
Liu.
of being like super verbally abusive. Like in one of the scenes they're filming, he's like yelling like horribly offensive, insulting things, and she's like, he's looking in my direction. I'm like, are you fucking talking to me? She's like, I challenged him. I'm like, are you talking to me? And just got into it with them. But they halted production on this movie because of that. So
I don't know, man.
I don't
Bill
know if
Murray's
it's
a national treasure, though.
I know, but
weird
I'm not
dude.
trying to excuse him, but I'm like, he's a comedian. They're gonna say horribly a freaking funny man, Bill Murray. But
He's
again,
a little off his rocker, you know.
He is.
We all know that. But hey, man, he's in some of my favorite comedies of all time. I mean, come on.
Are you now, or have you ever been a homosexual? No, but we're willing to learn.
You mean like flaming?
Have you ever been convicted of a crime? Convicted? No, never convicted.
No.
I was telling my students about that. Like, what are you talking about? I was like, Bill Murray, Stripes. Like, who?
Oh.
I was like, forget it.
Or one of the most underrated Bill Murray movies of all time, Meatballs.
Oh,
Fucking
God.
Meatballs, dude.
It just doesn't matter.
It just doesn't matter.
No, it wasn't Meatballs where it's like,
Woolly Wabbit.
did the Germans give up when they invaded Pearl Harbor? No, the Americans give up.
That's Animal House.
That's Animal House. But
what the fuck was supposed to do, you moron?
another great Bill Murray that I had to turn Manny on to because he loves Hunter Thompson is Where the Buffalo Roam.
Oh, the original, yeah,
They're
before Johnny Depp.
Yep.
Can't stay here. Back country.
So that's
Let's
it.
get down to brass tacks here.
That's it for me.
Let's get down to brass tacks here. How much for the ape?
Speaking of news.
A bucket of his diarrhea. It was liquid, hot liquid.
So that's all I got for news there.
All right. Good times. Yeah, see, we're getting back into the swing of things. It's all good. So, yeah, no, I guess we can go through our movies and TV and all that good stuff. I mean, we touched on it a little bit. I was telling you before we jumped on the mic, I didn't really see a lot of movies. I mean, like I said, I rewatched Black Mass. If you haven't seen that movie about Whitey Bulger, it's fucking amazing.
That's what I leave in the toilet. A Black Mass.
Uncle Owen is in there, who's going to be on the Obi-Wan show. He plays
that's
the
right.
Yeah, I forget his name all the time, but I mean, it's got a cavalcade of stars in it. You got Kevin Bacon, you got
That man struck pay dirt.
Yeah, I mean, it's such a fascinating story. But other than that, like, I did get a chance, and I did watch on. Speaking of Netflix, I'm giving them my hard-earned money because I watched Metal Lords.
Oh,
on Netflix.
I think we talked about that movie coming out at one point.
Yeah, Tom Morello from Rage Against the Machine was producing it, and I went into it going like, all right, this is going to be like Napoleon Dynamite, like goofy slapstick comedy. Let me tell you, it was a heartwarming story.
Am I going to cry?
Yeah, I almost did.
I'm hitting that point in my life where my testosterone levels are dropping and my estrogen levels are rising, hence the man tits. I mean, I'd like to blame it on that, but I'm just a fat fuck. You
and me both, sweetheart.
I watch fucking shows. I don't know about you. I watch shows nowadays. I'm just like watching them. Like all of a sudden, I'm like, wait, am I crying? What the fuck?
Oh well, that brings me to when I went. I was, I've been on the Zoloft for a while to keep from killing y'all. I decided my first year of sobriety, right? I was like, I don't need this shit anymore. Fuck this stuff. I don't need it. I'm clear. I'm sober. I stopped taking the Zoloft, and actually I didn't get a lot of side effects from it. Like some people talk about having brain shocks and you get all fucked up. Yeah, where it's like somebody's like, if you just quit it cold turkey. I just one day after a year of sobriety, I was like, fuck it, and I thought because I'm like this isn't really doing anything for me. So I went to see Bohemian Rhapsody by myself in the theater. I knew I was in trouble the first time the trailer for Rocket Man came on. And I was like, my dad's favorite artist.
Oh, shit.
And I start like, and I'm like, what's wrong with me? And then at the end, I'm like, and he played Live Aid, and he had AIDS, and he knew it, and oh my God, and I'm like, oh my God, I cried like a
blubbering baby.
Oh, like just a big, like that freaking character in Inside Out, the blue chick. You know?
I can't really say anything because I get like that with fucking some TV shows.
Oh yeah, but yeah, getting back to Metal Lords, it was good. If you're into, the main character. Well, there's the drummer and the guitar player. I wish I knew their names and I should have wrote them down. But the guitar player is like this, like fucking, he's just like everything's metal, and he gets one of his friends to, start a band with him.
Right.
And he's a drummer, but he's not that good. And, and the guitar player is like, here, listen to all these songs. Like, he just gives him like a list of all these songs. And he slowly begins to get good. Like, and then he meets a girl, and the girl's a cello player, and they fall in love. And then he starts to get good. And then he's and the guitar player is a real fucking dick. And like, but then they get. I thought it was going to be like, goofy and it was like a heartwarming story about like a coming of age story.
I think I'm going to cry tonight.
And I don't want to spoil too much of it, but we did talk about there's this one scene. It kind of reminded me, if you've ever seen that movie, The Rocker, with Rainn Wilson.
Yes, that movie's so good.
I love
That's
that
the one
movie.
where he's drumming naked.
Yes.
He doesn't realize they're zooming.
It was very similar to that, but it was more of like kids like learning, he's learning his craft. Next thing you know, he's playing War Pigs by Sabbath and he's getting good. And then these other kids, it's a battle of the bands at the end.
Ooh.
And the metal guitar players, we're going to do the battle of the bands,
I miss Battle of the Bands.
Yeah. And so to make a long story longer, the drummer ends up, in the beginning, he was pining for this like unobtainable girl. She doesn't notice him from Adam. Now all of a sudden he's a drummer. He starts playing these gigs, and now she's like, oh. So he's in the hot tub, and the girl comes in. She's typical blonde, like bombshell. Starts putting the moves on him and stuff, but he's seeing this like cello girl, and the cello girl's very sweet, and they're like first time virgins, all that shit. And he looks up. And then there's Scott Ian from Anthrax. He's like, hey, man, what are you doing? You have a girlfriend. You shouldn't be doing that. And then Tom Morello comes in from Rage Against the Machine. He's just like, yeah, man. You should be. And then Rob Halford comes walking in. And they're like all his conscience. And there was one other person I can't remember. But it was just so. I really, really enjoyed it. I give it. I don't know if I'd give it fully erect. I'd give it like definitely a 3/4 chub. Slap it a little bit.
All right.
It's got the 3/4 with a J curve.
Wow.
It's that close. And that was the only one I watched. And to bring it around the other side, I did finally watch Halloween Kills. Oh boy, yeah, that was like a quarter chub, slapping it to kind of get it like moving. I'm hoping that it's just one of those things where like Halloween Ends is gonna finalize it, and make it great. But that movie was just. The kills were insane.
Okay.
Which normally in a Halloween movie, it's very like suggested and whatnot. So the kills were gory and crazy as shit. But the story, oh my God, it was just like, evil dies tonight. You're like, how many times are they going to say this? And fucking Laurie Strode is barely in the movie. So anyway, those were my movies.
Well, I did watch, we talked about X, that horror movie.
Yes.
I did watch it. I very much enjoyed it.
I can't wait to watch
Very
this
like
again.
reminiscent of those 70s horror movies.
You got like a Texas Chainsaw Massacre feel
And
to
it definitely did have a Texas Chainsaw Massacre feel to it. No spoilers here. It has that like, the crazy kills. Like I'll just give you sort of a spoiler. One kill. And one of the kills, the guy's like sees these holes. He's in the barn. He looks at the holes in the wall. He's like, what the hell's over there? And he looks. And all of a sudden, thunk, pitchfork through the holes into his eyes. And it's like, and he's just sitting there, and all of a sudden it's like, and he just drops to the ground. So it's a lot of crazy kills.
That was kind of in the trailer.
Yeah.
Looking through the people.
So there's a lot of that. There's the like crazy, wacky, you sort of expect, but don't expect that like wacky twist at the end. That like, oh God, there's going to be a sequel to this kind of thing, which was really nice.
Yeah. No, I've been dying to see it. I know the director and writer, Ty West. He's done a couple of horror
You
movies.
know him? You guys is friends?
Me and Ty West are like this. I'm the pinky. No, he's done a couple of indie horror movies, and this one is seemingly like a pretty bigger one.
What got me is like, for those who don't know the premise of this group of people go up to this farm, this property in the middle of fucking nowhere, to film a porn.
Yeah.
Called like The Farmer's Daughter. That's what the porn is supposed to be like. Oh, this guy goes to this black guy, your typical 70s porn. This black out, a big fucking cock shows up at the farmhouse kind of thing, and my daddy's not here, but you can come in and wait for him, and they're fucking. But there's nudity, and what threw me off was the fucking girl from Brittany Snow, who's in like Pitch Perfect and all those other fucking movies.
Oh yeah, okay.
This
yeah.
Fucking getting banged.
Nice.
I'm like, wait, what? But the other girl I mentioned before, that's in the Wednesday movie. She plays Wednesday.
Mm-hmm.
Her name was Jenna Ortega.
Yeah.
She's
tacos.
In it. Oh, yeah, Ortega tacos. They're great taco shells. Like, when you see her, she was in the Scream movie.
Okay.
She's the girl in the beginning on the phone.
Yeah.
I think in the beginning. But this broad.
Oh, yeah.
She's in it.
Okay.
And she basically plays like the sound guy's girlfriend.
Weird.
Who at one point is like, this is horrible. I'm a Christian girl. It's like, it's about having fun, baby. And then she's like, I want to be in a scene.
Oh.
But this farm, there's this old couple that lives there that owns it. And the guy's like, I talked to you about coming up here. It's like this whole, I'm not going to say anymore, but it was really good. Give it a watch. I went and saw that Sonic the Hedgehog 2 movie.
Oh.
I liked it.
It looks cute,
It's a great movie. Like I think even like Violet would probably enjoy it. I don't know if you've seen the first one. Watch the first one.
Yeah.
It's very much in the same kind of vibe and wheelhouse and entertainment value as the first one. So I did enjoy it. You were always a Sega guy.
Oh, dude, I freaking played Sonic. I majored in Sega in college.
So was the Sega you played had Knuckles in it?
No, I don't.
But
think so.
Did it have tails? The little fox with two tails that flies around.
Probably. I mean, I did do a lot of drugs.
Well, those are the two new characters in this. They bring Knuckles in, played by Idris Elba, who's like, I'm not going to do this sexy, and that went out the window. And that's impossible for Idris Elba not to do sexy.
The man just
voice.
he just emotes sexy.
Yeah.
Just to trail back a little bit. I don't know if you want on the movie X. Did you hear that they're actually going to release the movie The Farmer's Daughter?
No.
Yeah.
Oh, that's gonna be awesome.
I heard the rumor about it. It's like the movie within a movie.
Is it going to star the people that were in it?
Yeah. They're gonna. I think they. We should look it up. But I know that they talked about releasing that movie.
Oh, that's fucking hilarious.
Just so you can. It's like a companion piece to go with it. But
anyway,
yeah. So, yeah, Sonic 2.
I'll give Sonic 2 half to 3/4 chub.
Nice.
I'll give X that 3/4 with a fucking curve.
The 3/4 with a J curve. You gotta have that J curve. It hits the spot.
Now, I think I talked to you about that. That it was up. Came out the Brian Wilson, the Long Promised Road documentary.
Yes.
I'm not even going to give it a chub rating. It was just an informative documentary. I found out some shit about Brian Wilson that I didn't know. The only thing, most of what I knew about Brian Wilson was like, hearing Beach Boys songs, knowing them, and the Bare Naked Ladies song.
Yeah, he's a really interesting character. We had talked before we got a mic about Love and Mercy, which was a great movie. With Paul Dano, which I forgot he was the best part of that movie.
Oh, sure.
The older Brian Wilson, John Cusack. I was like, why is John Cusack walking around like a weirdo? But the young one, I mean, if you enjoyed that doc, I'm sure it went into it really deep. As far as I got into a rabbit hole too from Love and Mercy. Like, Daryl used to always be like, Pet Sounds, best fucking album of all time. Yep. And I'm like, all right, you mean like fucking Surfing Safari, that bullshit? He's like, no, you gotta listen to it. And then because he had that schizophrenia, he would hear all these harmonies in his head constantly.
Yep.
And he would
they talk about it.
Yeah, and he was just a prolific, he's still around. He's just amazing.
They talk about how they recorded that album and how they were like some of the stuff was recorded in like at the same time in like three completely separate studios.
Yeah, and there's that one scene where he's got all these instruments, like people, oh yeah, rock star guy, whatever. He's just like he's picking out like, oh no, you have to. The oboe is. it's not tuned. Like he could hear every single thing. And there's one scene where he's in a studio and he's just staring for like 3 hours, just in complete silence. And he's just like, no, can't record here. Just something about it. I just can't. Like he's just he's one of those.
How
like,
true that actually is, I don't know. But
yeah, I'm sure they played it up a little.
At first,
bit.
I thought he like had like mental issues because of like he talks about dropping acid and doing drugs. But then I was like, yeah, that'll fuck you up. And then I realized like, nope, he was like that before the drugs.
Oh yeah, yeah. And there's some really there's some footage out there too of the soundboard, like when they're in recording, their harmonies and stuff like that, which Brian would like take all, he picked out all the parts, and Mike Love, asshole. He's just he wanted to do all the hits, and Brian Wilson wanted to do all the experimental shit. But there's a soundboard recording of them doing the harmonies and stuff, and the father, it'll give you fucking chills. Like he's just such a dick. Like,
and that's a real recording?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like in between takes, he'd be like, Brian, what the hell, what the fuck are you doing? Like, dude, stop being such an idiot. And you're such a weirdo. But and you could tell he's just treating him like garbage in front of. And there was that one part where we were talking about it from the other movie where, he comes up to Brian and he goes, "Good news, I sold the whole
catalog,
the whole catalog for $300,000. You're set." And he's just like, "That was my music." Like, because the father had manager control or whatever. He goes, "Come on, you'll be thanking me." Like, ouch.
Nobody wanted that shit.
Yeah, he was saying nobody's gonna give a shit about this music 20 years from now. Wow. Yeah. So that sounds great. I love Brian Wilson. I love Pet Sounds.
It was worth a watch.
Yeah.
The documentary, because they had a lot of that footage you're talking about in there. Mm-hmm. And the guy who made the movie was like Brian Wilson's son, and the guy who did the interview with him for Rolling Stone, and in the course of doing that interview, they became really, really good friends.
Okay.
And he's like, Brian would just be like, let's just go for a ride and talk. And they would get in the car and just drive around and talk.
Yeah.
And they filmed it. They put cameras in the car and just filmed it.
Wow.
Him and Brian went to different places, went to studios and stuff. And
yeah, he's just a fascinating guy. And it was so tragic between his father and the doctor that basically kept him drugged up to
that they got rid of and then brought back and then got rid of again.
Yeah.
I will say the movie did give me more of an appreciation, because I was like, kind of serving the bar, all that shit. That's all I really knew of them. But like watching the documentary, I started like seeing, like you said, all the genius that goes into the music, the harmonies, and like everything. I was like, wow, I got to give the Beach Boys another listen.
Yeah, I mean, definitely listen to Pet Sounds or in Brian Wilson's Smile, which is really good.
Yeah.
It's even Paul McCartney said, "God Only Knows" is the most perfect song ever written. And if you listen to it, you're like, and you've heard it in like 50 First Dates.
Yeah.
That movie, you're like, you listen to that now after watching that documentary, get some headphones, put on some Pet Sounds.
Well, that's like Stolpe said to me about the last Iron Maiden album. Got to put headphones on, listen to it, because you'll hear you'll hear everything that you're supposed to hear in that music.
Take a couple hits off the vape, put on the freaking Pet Sounds.
What vape? I don't know.
Yeah, me.
Manny. Can I borrow your vape?
Yes. No, I'm just saying you got to get yourself in that. Like, that's a lost art too when we talk about music. Where putting on headphones, like cans like this, not the fucking buds. If I see another freaking Apple AirPod thing, they look like the freaking something about Mary jizzed in their ear. Oh. I just want to pull them out every time I see somebody.
Well, look. So then the last movie I saw, I'm going to talk about that, but having seen movies recently, more movies in the theater, I got so accustomed to watching stuff on my computer. It's like right there in front of you. But going to the theaters, getting the sound over there, then there's nothing that compares to that. Coming close to it, the newer Apple headphones have that Dolby Atmos stuff in it. So like when you're watching it, and I'm like watching the show and I go like this, the sound changes, so it's like your head has moved. It tracks where you're looking.
Oh yeah, I mean technology is. Don't get me wrong.
But nothing beats that. So the other movie
remember
I
with
saw,
the Batman, when we saw the Batman and the freaking chairs were rumbling.
Well, and that was the thing about this. The last movie I saw, The Northmen. I went last night. It came out last night. Went to the very first showing at 7:00 last night.
Wow.
And it was fucking amazing.
Wow.
I mean, the way it was filmed, the tracking of the camera, just everything about that. The soundtrack, like the score. That's the word I was like. The score was not one of these like it could have been, and I just didn't notice it. It wasn't just like overly orchestrated with like a whole fucking string quartet, not even a quartet, a whole like orchestra playing the music. It was literally like, you know, Viking drums and like, oh.
Yeah, sometimes those simple ones, like, you know, we talk about like Joker. That all it is just that cello or that one, you know, that one theme, you know, just going through it. Like, sometimes less is more. You don't need, like, you know, somebody walking to the freaking, you know, mailbox. It's like, it's like, dude, calm down.
Yeah.
Now I've heard a lot of good stuff about that
movie. And that movie was like, I think we talked about this earlier, like you and me. It was very like a mix of Shakespeare and Excalibur. And you hit the nail on it. You said it's like a Viking Othello.
Yeah.
And it's exactly what it was. But it was so good. And fucking AlexanderSkarsgard.
AlexanderSkarsgard.
Well, you know, in the movie, the whole premise is he's this kid who his dad is the king, played by Ethan Hawke.
Oh.
And he like preps him to be the next king, and then he gets killed, and then they try and kill him, and he takes off, and then fast forward like years later. That they don't tell you how many. It's like years later, and he's a fucking berserker. And he's in this. He's like rowing the boat, and I'm just sitting there going. I just go like some fucking idiot sits like empty theater, the biggest theater in the Galleria. I'm in the very back row, right under the projector booth thing. I'm just like, and then I look, and there's this guy like 2 seats away from me. I was like, dude, there's a fucking million seats here. Why do you got to sit 2 away from me?
He's like the guy with the urinal right next to you.
And then they start rowing. I go,
put your back into the oar.
And the guy looks at me. He's like, what? And I was like, that's right. It's like, you want to sit next to me? This is what you're getting, buddy.
That's right. Fucking start rowing, bitch.
But it was so good. That one I'll give a fucking full erect to.
Ooh, nice stiff fucking Viagra.
Little over 2 hours, and I was like, wait, it's over?
That's like a Cialis boner, huh?
Nice. I thought so. Maybe I'm just skewed.
No, I've heard
that was my feeling of it.
I've heard some really good stuff about it. Like, it was funny because it just kind of came out.
Yep.
And now I'm seeing all these reviews of people going, you know, talking about it. I'm like, wait, what movie is this that just came out? I'm like, I'm just kind of out of it. But, yeah, I mean, my stuff more, as we transition over into TV, I mean, that's really what I've been watching. You know, there's some stuff that we talked about. I mean, Better Call Saul. Have you started watching that?
No.
You're not into the Saul?
No, I watched.
No, I mean, for all you Breaking Bad fans,
I did watch the first 2 seasons of Better Call Saul, and then I just kind of gave up on it.
Really, it's good. It's really good.
Well,
I mean,
isn't this the last season?
Yes.
So maybe I'll wait for this season to be over because, you know, he did have a heart attack in the midst of making this fucking season.
Yeah, it took a while. Like, it started. They debuted the first 2 episodes on AMC Plus, which you know, if you're a Breaking Bad fan and you're sleeping on Better Call Saul, you gotta. I mean, it's just. I mean, Vince Gilligan and they're still the same team that are writing it.
The whole story. What got me was the whole storyline with him and his brother. I was like, oh my god! And then him being in love with that girl.
Once you get past that, it's getting into Breaking Bad territory.
Okay,
so
good.
You know, you got the Gus Frings and you got the Mikes and you got the.
I wonder if we're gonna have a fucking Heisenberg.
Oh yeah, they have to
cameo.
They have to. I mean, they did it for El Camino. I mean, the fuck, you know.
I didn't watch that either.
It was good. It was all right. It wasn't necessary.
No.
But, well, it's the same. And you know how I am with prequels. I fucking hate prequels most of the time.
From me, too.
You know, but this is like, it's just, what's cool about it is that, you know, it tells the story of how he becomes Saul Goodman.
Right.
He was Jimmy McGill.
Saul Goodman.
Now he's Saul Goodman, you know. And he gets into some shit. But it also does a flash forward of him being at the manager of Cinnabon, where he's Gene.
Oh, God.
So you kind of go, you know, only in the beginning of some episodes, they fast forward to Gene and working at Cinnabon and how miserable he is. And there's one, I think in the last season, at the end of season 5, you know, he's just sitting in the mall, like, you know, he's got a mustache, his hair is gone, and he's just kind of eating, you know, his lunch. And, you know, he's in Wisconsin or something like that. I forget, somewhere in the middle of nowhere where they sent him. And this one of the kids walks by and he goes, "Better call Saul." Like, he outs him. Like, he goes, and he goes, "Come on, say it. You're that guy." And he goes, I don't know what you're talking about. Like, you know, and he's like, "Come on, you gotta be." And then finally he just is like, "Better call Saul, and then he freaks out because he's been seen by somebody, so he goes and calls the vacuum cleaner guy. And
See, I don't know. I have no idea what you're talking about now because I don't know any of this stuff.
well, yeah, I mean, this is
The last thing I remember watching was like the whole thing with him and his brother and fighting for control of that law firm shit or whatever. And I was like, this is not what I signed up for.
yeah, no, that ends pretty quickly.
Okay.
And then once he does, you start getting into like Gus Fring, like season 3 starts getting into Gus Fring.
So pick up at season 3. Got it.
Yeah, skip the whole shit. Like, go there. You get the Chicken Man. You get Mike Ermentraub. You get the Salamancos.
Okay.
You get the fucking the twins.
All right.
Yeah. So it starts, and then every once in a while you'll see like a Huel walk by. You're like, oh fuck, that's Huel. Like, so if you're into Breaking Bad, they give you like little nuggets here, and it does
That's
show
nice.
that flash forward.
Any Bill Burr?
Not yet. I don't think. No, but
I love those Easter eggs of like, I love Bill Burr. And then all of a sudden it's like, wait, Bill Burr's the guy.
yeah. Well, there's not to. I mean, I'm spoiling a lot of it, but hey, I mean, it's been out for fucking 2 years. I mean, Jesus Christ. So yeah, I mean, with this flash forward, he gets outed, and then he calls the guy who hid him in the first place.
Okay.
The one who hid Walter, if you're into Breaking Bad. And,
Right.
And he goes, you gotta find me a new place to go. Like, I've been outed. And he's just like, all right, give me a minute. Let me call you back. And then he decides at the end of the season, he's like, no, fuck it. So I think they're going into not only you getting caught up with him becoming the Saul Goodman, and like I said, there's Easter eggs everywhere. Like, they go to this one place, and then there's the big blow-up Statue of Liberty. And he's like, Or, like, he walks by, and he hires somebody to do, like, this scam on one of the guys, and it's Huel,
Okay.
And you're like, oh, I know who that is, Like, they throw in little things. So, yeah, I mean, if you want to start at 3.
That's
or
what I'll
even
do.
just, because it's a prequel, but it does show that flash forward of, like, and then Kim, the girl that's in it, she's never mentioned in Breaking Bad. So you're like, what? And they're like together. You're like, what the hell's gonna happen to her? Like, and they do a lot of flash forwards. I highly recommend it. So that's what that was the major one that I get into. How did your parents die? The only other thing I watched after that, which you probably have not seen, but I believe it was also on AMC Plus. It's a Shudder thing. It was a TV show called Cursed Films. I did post something. If you go onto the Facebook, our Facebook page, there was a thing that they showed. It's basically about movies and how, The Exorcist and The Omen, and how they're saying that these things were cursed. But then what was interesting was a lot of these people were like, dude, this shit happens all the time. Like, it's not.
Yeah.
People getting like, oh, the curse of the Exorcist.
Oh, like with Poltergeist.
Yeah, Poltergeist was one of them too. And if you're a movie nerd like us, and you're into horror movies like me or you or whatever, and you're interested in see how the sausage is made and all these theories and stuff, but there is one thing that they put on there. It's a test. Now, I urge anybody, and I'll show my pal when we hang up. This test to see if you can do it. They show it, and I don't want to spoil it because you should just do it. Because I did it.
Just do it.
And then once they reveal it, you're like, oh, shit, I did not see that. So it's interesting. Other than that, you up with the Moon Knight still?
Oh, I am so up with Moon Knight.
Yeah?
I am all caught up and fucking balls deep in Moon Knight.
See, I'm kind of torn. I'm current because I'm a Marvel shill, but I don't know. Like, it's getting better.
The selective attention test?
Yes.
I've done that.
Oh, you've done that.
With the
yeah.
gorilla?
Yeah. Dude, when I first did it, I did not see the fucking gorilla. And I had to rewind it and go back because he was like, you count how many times the ball's getting past the white shirts. And you're watching it, and I'm counting, and I'm like, okay, 13. And the guy goes, it was 13 ball. And I was like, yes, I got it. And he goes, did you see the gorilla? And I'm like, what gorilla? I did not see it at all. And and he goes, and the guy in the thing says, this isn't a different clip. You can rewind it and watch. And Sure as shit, fucking gorilla walks in the middle of it. I did not see it at all.
He stops for a second too and just does like a
Yeah. It's not like just a fast walk. He stops, he looks, he does a thing. I did not see it at all, and that was his thing. It was like people see things and assume, oh, that's what it is. It's cursed, but in reality, it's like you're not paying attention to this other stuff that's going on.
Well, I mean, come on. That's like in fucking Moon Knight, where he's like, to me, this is a pen. I write with it. To my dog, it's a fucking chew toy.
Yeah.
You're going to see what you expect to see and you want to see. It's like those things like where they're like, it's got a whole alphabet or something like that. It's like only, 10% of the people can find the mistake.
Yeah.
And the mistake is actually, it's like only 10% of the people.
Yeah.
And they put the twice. And it's like, because you're going to see what you expect to see.
If you can read this upside down, you're a genius. Now just give me your 4
not
numbers
to go,
of your social.
Yeah. If you're thinking of your favorite pet, put his name here and we'll all think of him. It's like, okay, you just literally are giving people how to hack your password. Not to go super nerd on you, but it's the same thing I tell my students. In my programming classes, and I didn't even invent this thing, they get a rubber duck.
Mm-hmm.
I give every one of them a little rubber duck, and it's like, I'm like, that's your code duck. And like, what's it for? I was like, when you're going through your code and you're trying to figure out what the fuck you did wrong, I was like, put the duck there and explain your code to the duck. Like, walk through and go, okay, so this line is supposed to do this, and then there's my print this, and that, and then you got this. I was like, and by explaining it to the duck, it'll help you find your mistake because you're looking more detailed at what you've typed. Like, you're looking better at your code. You're having to look at it so you can explain it to this fucking rubber duck.
You want to buy a duck?
And that's a what?
A duck.
Does it quack?
Of course it quacks.
Oh. I did that one with my class. I explained that one. They didn't know that one.
Oh, really? Okay.
So, like, and they always will invariably, I'm like, did you explain it to your duck? And they're like, well, I don't have my duck today. I was like, all right, well, bring your computer over. And they're like, okay. And I'm like, so what's going on? Like, so like, I was trying to get, and they start explaining. They go, oh, wait, I typed the word wrong there. I go, glad to be your duck.
You turn around, you're dressed as a duck.
I want to get like a rubber duck hat, so when they come up to me, I just be like, you need help with your code? Hold on a second. And put the hat on.
Yeah.
Please, explain your code to me.
I'm a duck. You gotta talk to me because I'm a duck. No, that's fascinating. Yeah, I'm going to bring that up, too. I'm going to use that. I have a magic gin in my office. Maybe I could talk to Magic Gin.
You have a gin?
A magic gin. It's the little guy that you...
Yeah.
Think of an animal. We had a scorecard in my office. People
like 20
would come
questions.
in and try to figure out, is this animal furry in the balls? That's what I thought. We had a lot of fun with that thing. So, yeah, I mean, other than that...
the only thing I have is a sarcastic 9-ball.
Sarcastic
9-ball. Oh, yeah,
you,
it's like an 8-ball, but it's a 9-ball.
Yeah.
And you're like, will I win? Will I be rich? And you turn it over. It's like, yeah, I don't think that's going to happen. It's sarcastic answers. It's the sarcastic 9-ball.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, I mean, as far as the TV stuff goes, like, yeah, Moon Knight, I'm kind of lost, but I'm intrigued.
Now, where are you lost?
Well, it's just, I mean, I get it. Like, who is the? I mean, there's Steve. Who's the?
There's Steven. There's Mark.
Steve and there's Mark.
Now, Steven is the alternate. Everybody thinks Steven is the prime.
Yeah.
And he's not. Mark is the prime. Mark is the original. Like he's really Mark.
He's really Mark.
Steven is one of the alternates. That's one of his alternate personalities. Now, is it James or? There's a third one that we haven't met yet because there's a couple of scenes where Steven and Mark are like going back and forth.
Yeah.
And it's like, why did you do that? He's like, I didn't do it. Well, who did? I don't know. And then they just breeze past it. There's a third personality that's fucking batshit crazy. I hate saying batshit crazy. I'm going to get in trouble for that one. But he's just fucking balls to the wall, wants to kill everything kind of thing. And in the last episode, when they're in the mental hospital, I really believe he's been shot. He's dying.
Yeah, the whole thing too, yeah.
And because he can't be brought back to life because what the fuck is the Egyptian?
Khonshu?
Khonshu's been turned into his little statue thing. He's going to die. But now the hippo god, who's the god of like fertility, it's like the fertility god. It's just one of the Egyptian gods is now coming to him. The mental hospital, I think, is like he's dying and it's in his head. and now his personalities are together. And in that third sarcophagus, the red one, is that other personality, and it's shaking. And I think what's going to happen next is they're going to open it up, let him out, and they're going to have to like team up to stop the fucking crazy personality. The hippo is going to revive. They're going to get control of the personalities, get everything straight.
Okay.
And then the hippo is going to be like, all right, I'm going to bring you back to life so you can stop them from raising Ahmet.
Okay.
That's what I think is going to
really
happen.
Interesting. I mean, that last episode, that whole 12 Monkeys vibe of like that, because it keeps you guessing. Like you're like, wait, is this all in his head, or like, who's the like? Is Steven the real person? Is Mark the real person? I thought, like in the beginning, I'm thinking Steven is the guy, the real person. Mark is just some, his wannabe hero guy.
Yep.
But then it turns out like Mark. They need each other to figure out certain things. It's pretty, but I'm like,
And when they talk about being trapped inside, I think now that he's dying, both of those two personalities, Mark the Prime and Steven the alternate, are now trapped inside together because he's dying. So now they are like, holy shit, we found each other. We got to finish this and get this shit worked out.
Yeah.
And then he'll come back, and I don't think he found that statue down the throat of Alexander. Spoiler. Jesus Christ! There's a fucking it's the dogs
up there.
They that statue he pulled out of Alexander the Great's mouth of Ahmet.
Okay.
I don't think he has that. When he told her, "Run, I'll stall them or whatever. I'll take care of this." I think he gave her the statue. So Ethan Hawke's character shoots him. He falls down, but you don't even have the fucking statue that. I don't think he's got the statue he wants. So now they're going to have to go after her. There is chaos a-brewing upstairs in my house. It's because I think Kate just came back from picking up Mila from softball.
Yeah, we're at the CCC today.
And then letting out the dogs, and it's like, they're going nuts. Four fucking dogs.
I love them. Yeah, so, that's been interesting. I'm glad you explained that to me, because it's not a watch while you're looking at your phone kind of show.
No.
Wait, what the fuck? Why is there a hippo here?
And it loosely follows the comic book. There's a whole run of him in the mental hospital.
Yeah, so it's like a certain part. I mean, the type of person... I could see a lot of people being like, well, where's the dude in the suit? Like, where's, I want to see more of him, which I'm kind of like that too. But also it's fascinating just as far as like, I don't know who's the real person and this. And
Mark's the real person.
And now it's like he's in a mental and you see all this stuff.
If we're being correct with the current psychological terminology, the original person who's the original identity is called the Prime. Okay. And then all the sub-identities, for the most part, are referred to as the alternates.
So, in essence, it's not like my father used to say he's batshit crazy.
Yeah.
Oh, no, he used to say you're nuttier than a shithouse rat.
That's right. Nuttier than a fruitcake.
Yes. So besides that, the other ones, I mean, Minx and Winning Time, I'm still behind a little bit on.
All caught up.
Yeah, Minx, it's only so
It's over now. So
many cocks I can look at.
I think Minx is over.
I think it was the last one. Don't get me wrong. Winning Time and Minx, great shows. I always just need that weekend let me binge a couple.
Well, I will say this past weekend's Winning Time was really fucking good. That was the whole Celtics shit.
My boy Larry Bird.
The one before it, I'm watching. I was just like, snooze fest on that one.
Yeah, you got to get through some of that stuff. So yeah, I mean, there's tons of stuff to watch, kids. Get on it. If you got Souls, you got Marvel, you got Obi-Wan coming up next month. It's good times. It's a good time to be a nerd. It's a good time to be a freaking media whore. So
now let me ask you.
Yeah, tits indeed, everyone. Yeah.
Do we have music?
Oh my God, do we have music? We got a ton of music.
I've even got 2 to add on to your little listy here.
Nice, yes, definitely. So the ones that I noticed going through my extensive research called Spotify Discover, couple of singles. It's like as usual, it's a lot of singles, which is cool. You know, we're in that age now where it's almost like the 50s, where it's like just release a single. I don't know if we talked about them on the podcast before. There's a band called A Vulture Wake.
No.
Punk band. It's the last singer that was in All.
Okay.
Who he was like one of my favorite singers in All. He has a band called The Vulture Wake. They have a new single out called Red, which I added to the playlist. It's not as technical as All, but it's still in that punk version. Like
The Vulture Wake.
Yeah, like Nerd Herder, Nerf or whatever. It's
Nerf Herder.
The last 2, Problematic. The last 2 All records, or he's the singer.
Okay.
One of my favorites out of all singers. He was my favorite. So he's got a little punk trio called The Vulture Wake, and they put out an album a couple of years ago. They just came out with another single called Red. It's freaking awesome.
Red.
Yeah, if you like the All stuff,
Chad.
Chad
Price?
Yes. Yeah. He's really good. And, he was great in the documentary, the Descendants documentary.
Which is another, everybody should watch that.
Everybody should. I own
Filmage.
That. Yeah, Filmage. I own it. It's freaking,
Me too.
It's a masterpiece. So yeah, if you're into that, the All stuff, it's very similar. It reminds me a lot of the other band we talked about, Field Day, which I finally figured out. We were talking about it's got the guys from Dag Nasty in it, right?
Okay.
And they kept saying Descendants, Dag Nasty members, and I'm like, Descendants. He was the bass player in Field Day, was one of the bass before Carl. He was in he wasn't the original bass player. He was like the second one. I'm like, does that really count? I don't even think he was on a record.
That's like, who was the fucking... It was Cliff Burton, and then there was another bass player.
That would be, something McGovern.
Yeah, and then Jason Newsted.
Well, no, he was before Cliff Burton. There was McGovern, then it was Cliff Burton, then it was Jason Newsted.
I feel like there was another... But it's like, there's always that like, well, we just got to finish this fucking tour, so you're going to come play bass.
Yeah, that happens once in a while. That was an interesting story. If you guys are fans of the Deftones, the bass player finally quit, and it was interesting. Like I was, and one of the things, if you do notice on some of these things, I do comment as the podcast, so which does help with views. Deftones went through a whole thing too. I wish I remember the bass player's name. He took over for Chi, who was in a coma for a while and died, and he's been in the band for like over a decade. Recorded a bunch of albums with him. He finally left, and the reason he did is he's like, they never made me like a full member. Like he was just a hired guy for the other 3 guys were reaping all the
kind of like Mark Wahlberg in Rockstar.
Yeah, he was just...
You're just a fucking replacement.
Yeah, and then after a while, it's like, look, dude, your bass player died. You get this other bass player who's been on, like, at least 4 or 5 albums with you. He's contributed. He's toured. You don't make him a member of the band?
No.
It's like, it's us 3, and then you're a hired gun. So he was just like, fuck it, I'm out, And people were like, I can't believe that. And I was like, look, man, it doesn't matter. It's business.
Right.
It's the music business, and people got to realize that. Like, one of my favorite ones, the history of the Eagles, who showed how much of a dick Glenn Frey and fucking what's his face were, because when they reunited,
and it feels so good.
Yeah, exactly. There's Don Henley and Glenn Frey.
Right.
They were like, we're gonna get the Eagles back together. So, they go to Joe Walsh, who's fucking the coolest member of the Eagles. Just 2
By
words.
far.
James Gang. That's it. That's all you got to say. He don't need that shit, but he made them cool, right? They said, we'll do it, but you got to go to rehab because he was a mess. So he said, okay, cleaned himself up. The bass player, I always forget his name. He had like 1 song, whatever. And then there's Don Felder, the other guitar player, one of the original guitar players. They said when they got back together, They said, we're going to do this tour, but Don Henley and Glenn Frey are going to get more money than you guys. You're just going to be hired guns. Because they said, well, the Eagles were broken up. We did our own solo albums, and we kept the name alive. So now that we're reuniting, we're going to get more money than you guys.
Because we're bigger names.
Yeah, because they were like, we kept the legacy going. So Joe Walsh is like, fuck it, I'm sober. I don't give a shit. Okay, cool. I'm cooler than all you guys put together. The bass player is like, nope, I haven't seen fucking a stage in 20 years. Okay, cool, I'll do it. Don Felder was like, fuck no, we're supposed to be a team. And they fucking booted him.
Of course they did.
And I give it to Don Felder. He's just like, fuck you, man. We started this band together. Now you're going to make more just because you wrote The Fucking Heat Is On? Who gives a shit?
Well, it's on the street.
It is.
Wait, does my cup do that? Let's try it.
Let's try it here. Exactly.
Whoa.
We're going to bring you back to the old times and the old frontier.
I got my spittoon.
This podcast goes on for 8 hours like that.
This podcast brought to you by Skoll.
Yeah, so I definitely went off on a tangent there. But as far as other music that's out there, I don't know if you want to hit a little, I Thought They Were Dead.
Oh, there's an I Thought That, where the fuck is the I Thought They Was Dead?
It's in there somewhere.
Back in the day, phone call. Oh, it's the button labeled dead.
Yeah, what is this? Huh? This is whack. I can't get jiggy with this shit.
I thought you were dead.
Guess what, kids? A Flock of Seagulls just put out a new song.
Oh, yeah, I knew that.
And I did put it on the playlist. It ain't bad.
It ain't good.
It ain't good. It ain't bad. No, they put out a song called Messages, and I was like, fuck, they're putting out music still? The Iran guys? The singer, that is a testament to don't use too much hairspray because his fucking hair is gone.
Oh, yeah.
All that shit.
Just like
Song called
fucking
Messages. I put it on the podcast Spotify playlist. Also, just to be quick, I mean, there's singles of glory. Primus has a new song out. Crowbot, we talked about them. They're on the playlist. They got another new song out. Def Leppard has a new song out. Better than the last one. Didn't put it on the list, though. Licorice Quartet has another single out. Creator, Destruction, all the metal classics. Everybody's got singles out. And it's kind of cool, but it's also kind of like, shit, I'm an album guy, But it's cool to hear. The other ones, the other two that I put on there real quick. Did you hear about that band Third Secret?
No.
That's been out. Came out of nowhere. They released an album. It's Chris Novoselic from Nirvana, Kim Thayil, and the drummer Matt Cameron, I believe, from Soundgarden.
Okay.
Started the band. Got a girl singer.
Oh, did you posted this on the Facebook?
Yeah. Just that they didn't announce. They didn't make a big to do or anything like that. It's like, hey guys, we just put out a whole album, and you're like, okay, it's good. I'm glad to see Kim Thayil from Soundgarden, the guitar player, actually doing stuff again since Chris Cornell passed. He hasn't done anything. So they're doing this new band. It's pretty cool. It's called The Third Secret. Not The Third Secret, but Third Secret. If you get a chance to check them out. Also, I put some other songs on it just because there's a band. I don't know if you've ever heard of them called Red Gold Green.
No.
Rap band. But they do incorporate live music. The reason I got hooked up to them because they had a song, which I put on the Spotify playlist. Dave Grohl played drums on it.
Oh.
They're really good hip-hop band. And they incorporate live, real instruments and stuff like that into it. They're called Red Gold Green. One of them's dressed. They have, like, basically Adidas suits. One's a green one, one's a gold one, one's a red one.
Of course it is.
They have a couple albums out. They just put out a live EP. But I did put some of their old songs just because I'm the type of person that's like, I'm not into the new hip hop. Like, my kids listen to it. Fucking Tyler, the Creator. I'm like, okay. I'm one of those old fogies when it comes to hip hop where I'm like, they haven't put out a good rap band since 1999. Yeah. But Red Gold Green, man, they got a bunch of songs, albums out. They put out an EP. I put 2 songs, Clap Back. Dude, if you're not jumping up and down when you hear the song Clap Back, fuck you. It's great. And they're a great live band. I want to go see them. So, yeah, that's basically it with the new stuff. There's a ton of music out there, kids. Go find it.
There is.
And go support it, will you? Easter ham.
Oh, it looks like an Easter ham. I love tits. Now, listen, that's another Hey Pal, What's Newy thing here. I did check out, because I want to buy it. I'm just on the fence, that the Lake Mayapack gear has the Rodax shirt.
Yes.
But they also have a Dino and the Destroyers shirt. No. Yes.
The maitre d' of music?
Yep. He must have struck some deal with Dino, because I know when he did the Tomcat shirts, he said he was given portion of the proceeds for being allowed to do it goes to the Kellogg family, not the cereal people.
Don't get it twisted.
But I'm guessing, like, with the Rodak thing, some of the money goes to one of the Rodaks to cover your ass for using their shit. But I don't know. Is he giving money to Dino?
Yeah, he could use a couple bucks. He played with Ace Frehley forever.
Yep.
And talk about freaking. There's a good story about that. I mean, Dino played with Sebastian Bach. He's played with Ace Frehley. All the classics. I mean, he's an old local war dog. The guy just. I saw him playing with the guitar, and he's hitting it with the boa. I mean, the guy is freaking so metal.
What a weirdo.
Yeah, and with Ace Frehley, what sucked is that, he had to pay all these guys for on tour, and he was like, and then like Gene Simmons actually went to him and goes, I used this solo band for my solo stuff, and they're consummate professionals, and you can get them really cheap. So he hired Gene's solo backup band and got rid of Dino and the rest of the guys. So
oh my God.
So Dino's still out there, man. That guy, he's like preserved. He'll never go.
He's a pickled punk.
He is a pickled punk, that Dino. But I love him, man. He's great, and he's still playing. I think he just played the Chance recently. The guy just never gave up. Which good on him, man. He's a great guitar player.
I was looking for that one. The old school soundboard always comes in handy every now and then.
Oh shit.
Our fans love us.
They do. All 2 of them. I think there's one of them on here.
That's the soundtrack of my orgasm.
Old Dribbles McGee. We also got to get the freaking taint sound. I'll record that.
I was going to say, you got to record that.
So, yeah, that I believe is about it for us, guys. Just like I said, it's good to be back. We'll be back in the saddle again. New audio version comes out on Monday. Like, share, subscribe. Make sure that you check out the website, which now I paid for. Please back up again.
Please go buy some of our merch, even if you're buying, like, the Hey Pal What's New magnet.
Yeah. Get
that's
some
what helps
stuff
us,
out there.
That's what helps us keep the lights on.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, and only some of those shirts, like Jackpot Jordy and Guru Master, and they're only out for a limited time. So yeah. So everybody, definitely like, share. We, the subscriptions and the downloads have been increasing. So even when we weren't around, so thank you for that. Check out the Spotify playlist. Interesting enough, we get more listeners on Apple Podcasts than Spotify. So
fuck you, Spotify.
Yeah, get on the Spotify.
I will tell you, someone from the past sent me a message on Facebook the other day. I was going back and forth, like, how are you doing? I saw this, I saw that, because they've been off of Facebook for a while.
Oh.
And I see you and Greg have a podcast. That's awesome that you guys still hang out. I was like, that's what the podcast is about.
Exactly.
I was like, make sure you listen, like, subscribe, leave us a review.
Or we just
wait.
I will say this studio has some better acoustics than mine.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So check out the Spotify playlist. Check out our merchandise, and if you want to, God damn, don't leave it over here. So if you want,
that's nice.
Obsession. If you want to be a sponsor and actually get live reads, full farts and other good stuff, LakeMayapackGear.com. Go check them out, guys. You can get yourself a Rodax shirt, the Dino and the Destroyers. Buy our merch, buy their merch, buy everybody's merch. And, if
Like-
you're going to drive tonight, please take a car.
That's right. Like, subscribe, smell my ass.